the opportunities open up, right?
Yeah.
Life stays, stuck to a structured format.
Exactly.
Because because the globe has become like one email. Like,
Right.
So the options just open up. So yeah. What about you? You do theater too?
Well, I actually spent a lot of this year working. I worked in a library because we have to support ourselves financially over the course of the year, and Yale doesn't give us any funding for that. So in order to like make ends meet and pay the rent, we get to do this wonderful singing thing, but we also have to make sure that we eat and have the and can pay for the electricity and that kind of thing. So I spend a lot of my time working and traveling to New York, taking voice lessons and dance lessons and trying to kind of set myself up for it. We have one more year of school to finish, and then we'll all kind of branch out and see where our careers take us. So. I love Hollywood, and I love movies, and I'd love to do that. I am personally more of like a stage or like musical actor. So hopefully
that's how it begins.
Yeah, that's right. You start on stage and then you end up a movie star.
That's right. Well, we'll see. As easy as that. But it's very simple. But yeah, so it's it's been a really enriching year personally for all of us, I think, because one of the great things about taking this year off is Yale has a lot of resources for its students, and with this time to kind of relax and think about how we want to spend our last academic year, I think we'll all take really full advantage of the resources of the really great university that we have.
Okay, so with the very grueling travel schedule that I've seen, you guys are all over the planet. Sure. Does it complicate your family life, personal lives? How do you balance that out?
I think it does to a certain extent. I mean, the answer is yes and no. I personally am from Los Angeles, California, and I'm going to school a 6-hour plane ride away in New Haven, Connecticut. So normally during the year, I don't get to see my family as much. On the other hand, one of the things that we've done as a group is we made a commitment to make a touring visit to every member of the group's hometown.
Correct, because the group stays together for a year, right?
That's right.
And then the next year, the new members.
During this year, we visited Los Angeles, where I live, and stayed with my family, and we visited Nathaniel's family in Colorado, we visited Ben's family in Washington, D.C., and as a result of that, it hasn't felt so much like we've maybe missed out on our one family, but more like we've gained sort of 13 more families, which is a wonderful feeling. On the other hand, it also makes our personal friendships and romantic lives and family lives a little more complicated because it's harder to stay in touch. But I think we're lucky enough to be traveling with a group of guys that we consider our best friends, and so we get to have our own little sort of special social dynamic for the year.
What about you? I mean.
Yeah, well, I've spent more time with these guys since August for a 1-year period, more than anyone probably except for my family. I've seen them, at the top of their game, and then at some lower points. And then we get, fun, right? Yeah, you get fun, and you get to really, really know each other in a really special way that wouldn't be true in any other context. So we're very, very lucky to be able to do that, and to meet people who we maybe for the past couple of years hadn't known as well, and that even though we've been singing together in the same broader Yale community, since it's only a 1-year commitment, we've only really been singing together and being together for this year. So I've really been lucky to meet people, that are 21 years old, 22 years old, like me, that are singing, that are going through the same time in their life as I am, and really, learning about themselves.
And these are the fun years, so why miss out on anything,
exactly.
right? What about
all
you,
the
Dan?
years are fun.
Yeah, you have to make it fun for yourself.
Yeah, and like you said, the globe is kind of one big email now, so it's really not difficult to stay in touch with our families and friends, even on this big 3-month world tour that we're doing. So whenever we have Wi-Fi, we can talk to them or email them or whatever, which is a pretty unparalleled kind of a new thing.
Right. Yeah.
At this point in history that we can do that. I'm very grateful that we get to be connected to all those people we love.
Correct. So getting into or being part of the group, is it very tough?
It's pretty tough. It is. So at Yale, there are 15 a cappella groups, and then the Whiffenpoofs are the 16th a cappella group. And so when you go in as a freshman, there's this crazy month-long sort of process where you audition for a cappella groups, and the 1,500 freshmen that come in hundreds and hundreds audition,
Right.
and then only a certain amount
Yes,
make
exactly.
it into the a cappella group. And then when they become juniors, they decide whether they want to audition for the Whiffenpoofs. So then sort of the cream of the crop of that class, the 40 or 30 or so people auditioned for only these 14 spots. So it's definitely difficult, but we are very, very privileged to have made the cut. Yeah. Yeah. You form a sort of a camaraderie going through the experience, the tough experience,
and
the
I'm sure a
stress.
certain level of being very competitive at the same time too.
Because it's a little.
The sense of competition is, from what I can see, I mean, from what I've been reading, it comes across as that you really have to be the top dog to get into it.
Right. Well, it's true, but on the other hand, it's the case that if you don't get into the Whiffenpoofs, Yale has so many wonderful opportunities to get involved in so many different things. So maybe it's the truth that the Whiffenpoofs and Women Rhythm are sort of the top of the a cappella scene, but the a cappella scene is just one very small part of the vibrant lives that the students at Yale University lead. So maybe if you don't get into the Whiffenpoofs, you end up being the editor of the newspaper the next year, or maybe you take the year off and do something totally different. And so that's sort of one thing that makes the competition kind of fun, because there's no losers, right? So we can be a little bit competitive, we can sort of push each other a little bit, because if you end up being not at the top of the a cappella scene, you end up being at the top of the science research scene, or end up being at the top of the theater scene, or something totally different. And so that aspect makes this fun. And the truth is that the Whiffenpoofs and a cappella in general is such a, in some ways, it's such a silly thing. It's just a group of people singing together, And so,
But do those other groups also travel the way you guys travel?
Excuse me. The other groups travel quite a bit. Many of them will travel during spring break or during summer break for a couple of weeks. Some groups tour more extensively than others, but the travel that other groups do is nothing in comparison to the sort of
Yes, exactly what you guys do, right?
Yes, right.
So I guess that's like the catch factor, that I have to get into there, because then you have all these things, all the frills that happen along with it.
And by this point in the year, we've given about, I think, 220 concerts. So we're really, it would be very difficult to do that and to be in school at the same time to take on those commitments.
Yeah, and you also get to meet, the head of your own country too, presidents and dignitaries. So I'm sure all those act as very, the catch factors into it.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of favorite singer across the genre? It doesn't have to be a cappella, like rock and pop and whatever, that kind of thing. And do you use music from them to also integrate into what you do?
I think yes. The answer to your question is yes. There are there are 13 members of the Whiffenpoofs, and we have different sort of personal tastes. So there are some people. Oh, my favorite. Ooh, that's a good question. I really like sort of jazz music and soul music and the crossover between the two. So I really love Ella Fitzgerald a lot. I really love Alicia Keys and John Legend and Adele and those sorts of artists. And there's been a couple of things that have been really great about being in the Whiffenpoofs. One of which is that if you're on the Whiffenpoof email chain, there's constantly being sent out videos of different people singing. Oh, check this girl out. Oh, check that guy out. I can't believe he sang that note. I can't believe she did that. And you get to watch it and sort of have some inspiration, have something. Maybe you take a little something from one of the performances you see and try to incorporate it into something you do, and that's great.
It's about being an artist, right?
And the other half of it is that I've been really pushed in new directions. Like I didn't listen to a whole lot of folk music before joining the Whiffenpoofs, but that's something that other Whiffs really love, and so I've had the chance to sort of share that with them, and through that process we've been able to sort of combine our musical styles and sort of blend it up into one big performance, which is what we'll put on tonight.
Does that mean that there's a solo music career happening somewhere in the near future?
A solo music career happening in my future.
There should be. Yeah. Ike actually, he started singing really when he got to college.
Yeah.
And so he's really only just starting his music career, I think.
Things in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I can't speak to what the future will hold, but I can say that this will not be the last time that I think about my.
Well put. What about you?
I actually come from a similar camp. Before I was in the Whiffenpoofs, I sang in a jazz group, and my favorite jazz artist right now is a guy named Kurt Elling, and he does a lot of scatting and sort of interpretations of old standards. And so I just love the ability for someone to maybe to find the music in between the words and to just create improvisation out of nothing, and I just find that so impressive. And so I try to, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work, but I try to introduce a little creativity of that sort in the Whiffenpoofs.
Ben is certainly the most free improviser of
Yeah, I bet.
It can be a good thing and a bad thing.
So who are your favorites?
In singing? Or
Yeah,
in,
besides, you know?
Besides, I love Simon and Garfunkel. From folk, I have a really sweet spot for Coldplay.
Yeah, same here too.
Yeah,
Same
even
here too.
a little cheesy, but you know, if you're in a bad mood, then you can just listen to some Coldplay and it'll make you feel better. I don't know, I try to dabble in on some different things, but if you have any person I should look out for, any suggestions?
Yeah, we can give you some recommendations too, that you might like.
I look forward to that. What about you, Dan?
I listen to a lot of musical theater, as well as jazz and a couple of other genres, but it's always half research and half
experimentation.
kind of things that I love. Yeah, because whenever I listen to musical theater, it's always something where I'm thinking, should I sing like this? Is this a voice that I like? How can I modify my style to like be like or not be like whatever person? And I usually make it a point to listen to like soundtracks or cast albums of new musicals that have come out on Broadway or on the West End over the course of the past like couple of years. So, as well as to listen to things that I might be auditioning for in the future. So, at Yale there's a production of Rocky Horror Picture Show that's going up. So I've been listening to that album a lot to kind of get ideas for what it is and understand the story, so that I am a little better informed about what I'm auditioning for.
One thing that's been cool about this whole process is that we get to hear, we get to really have a first-hand taste of how difficult it is to be a good singer. And I don't just mean to like put out an album or be on the radio or anything like that, but actually to be an artist and a student of the music in the production of singing. Because you know, you listen to the radio, you might think, oh, that's a song I like, that's a song I don't like, but that's a very different question from like, is this person a good musician, or are they creating a product that's a beautiful thing? And I think that being in a group like this and being exposed to so many different voices really gives us a unique perspective on understanding what it takes to be sort of like an artist and a musician.
And a complete performer, right? So you stand out from the...
Yeah, that's right.
Great. I would love to sit and chat, and I'm sure there's tons to be, talk and exchange. And
sure.
We should probably do that after the concert.
Okay.
Partying, right? So great. So on this very happy note, good luck to your concert tonight. I'm sure, as I said, we're all looking forward to what you will do. If you have a message that you want to also tell our audiences, you are free to do that right now.
Great. Thank you so much for having us here in Goa. We're having a wonderful time, and we hope to see you tonight at the concert. It's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah, and also there's one more thing, which is that if you enjoy music or you enjoy singing or any form of the arts, whether it's painting or any kind of visual art or music, or there's so many different kinds, dance, theater, whatever. Keep doing it, because we need more people who because we need more people who are invested in the arts to kind of make them flourish and keep them alive and make new art and show the world the new ways, new forms of creativity, and make new stories and new works.
And if you feel super invested in the Whiffenpoofs, you can find more information at www.whiffenpoofs.com, or you can check out our group came out with an album. It's called To Be Young and in Glove. And you can find it on our website if you're curious about more. We're on YouTube and all sorts of social media, so check us out there.
Great. Thank you, Goa, so much for listening to us. Thank you.